Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm your friend Arman. So today in this video, I'm going to solve the 2012 question paper of Assam Judicial Service Grade 3. Okay, I have already solved 5 questions paper so far of Assam Judicial Service Grade 3. So if you haven't watched my those videos, then do find the playlist link in the description box, or you can visit my channel, go inside and find the playlist, and there are many playlists apart from the questions paper also. I have solved total 5 questions paper so far, but and only 2 papers are left to be solved, and I will do that by tomorrow. Okay, and apart from this, if you want to know how to prepare and what to read, what not to read for the examination, for the preliminary especially, then do find the playlist in the description box. Okay, all about AJS. Okay, so yeah, and apart from that also, if you want to know how to like prepare for the law of tort, constitutional law, everything I have tried to cover, and including Assamese also I have tried to cover, and there are a lot of things to be uploaded in Assamese section, and I'll do that. Okay, very soon I'll do that. So yeah, so without any further delay, let's start today's video. Okay. So guys, the question paper I have in front of you is that 2012, as you can see here. Okay, so the first question is that section 129 of the Evidence Act 1872 states no one shall be compelled to disclose to the court any confidential communication which has taken place between teacher and student, company and its client, legal professional, advisor and client, landlord and tenant. Obviously option number C is the correct answer. Okay, then comes question number 2. Under section 114 of the Evidence Act 1872, court may presume the existence of any fact which it thinks likely to have happened regard being had to be common course of dash. So the correct answer will be all of the above. Okay, option number D. Then comes the question number 3. Section 5 of the Limitation Act 1963 applies. So the correct answer will be appeal and application. Option number B is the correct answer. Okay. Section 5 of the Limitation Act provides that an appeal or any application other than an application under Order 21 of Code of Civil Procedure 1908 may be admitted after the prescribed period if the appellant or applicant satisfies to the court that he had sufficient reason of not preferring the appeal or application within the stipulated time. Okay, then comes question number 4. Dacoity is committed. So the correct answer will be option number B, when 5 or more person commits or attempt to commit a robbery. Okay, section 391 of the IPC defines dacoity. The section states that if 5 or more persons conjointly commit a robbery or attempt to commit robbery, then it amounts to dacoity. In other words, robbery is dacoity if the persons committing are 5 or more in number. The essential of the offense of dacoity is: number 1, the accused commits or attempt to commit robbery. Then comes number 2, that is a number of persons committing or attempting to commit robbery, and the persons present and aiding must be at least 5. And number 3, there must be concentrated or united action by these 5 or more persons. Okay, then comes question number 5. Mens rea is obviously guilty mind. Okay, then comes question number 6. Section 89 of the Code of Civil Procedure provides for settlement of dispute by referring the matter to so the options are like option number A, arbitration and conciliation, fast track, court, and advocate general, all of the above. So obviously it will be arbitration. Okay, section 89 of the CPC provides settlement of dispute outside the court. Okay, under this section the court empowers to refer a dispute for settlement and settlement to arbitration, conciliation, lok adalat and mediation. Okay, total 4 mechanisms are provided for the dispute settlement outside the court. Okay, I'm repeating again: arbitration, conciliation, lok adalat and mediation. Before referring the matter for settlement in the court, must be satisfied that the parties may accept certain terms on which the dispute is likely to be settled. Okay, So guys, do remember this, okay? It is section 89 of CPC is very important, and every time, almost all, in all the exams, I have seen the questions from this section only, okay? 89. So please remember very carefully, okay? Then comes question number 7. No suit against government or public officer shall be instituted until expiration of dash period next after notice in writing has been delivered, okay? So the correct answer will be 2 month, okay? And this question also came in this last year exam, okay? So 2 month, remember that. Section 80 subsection 1 of the Code of Civil Procedure 1908 provides that notice shall be moved prior to the institution of a suit against the government or against the public officer in respect of any act purporting to be done in the official capacity, and a suit shall be instituted only after the expiration of 2 months of giving notice. Section 80 subsection 2 provides that in case of urgent or immediate relief without serving a notice, also suit can be filed against the government and public officer with the leave of the court. However, the court shall not grant any relief, whether interim or otherwise, without giving an opportunity of being heard to the government and public officer, okay? So yeah, it's 2 month. Then comes question number 8. The doctrine of double jeopardy in article 20 uh, clause 2 of the Constitution of India means slash no one can be tried or punished more than once for the same offense. This is the correct answer, okay? Option number A is the correct answer. Then comes the question number 9. In which of the following cases did the Supreme Court hold the basic feature of the Constitution of India cannot be amended by exercising the power of amendment under Article 368? Okay, so it's very clear that Keshavananda Bharati case, Keshavananda Bharati was the state of Kerala, 1973. This case is really important, okay? Almost in all the exams this case came, okay? And at least 1 or 2 questions come from this case only, okay? The Supreme Court of India in Keshavananda Bharati was the state of Kerala, AIR 1973, propounded that the basic structure doctrine and held that the parliament has power to amend the constitution including fundamental rights, but it cannot amend the basic features of the constitution. Accordingly, the court listed some other basic features of the constitution, such as supremacy of the constitution, republican and democratic character of the constitution, secular character of the constitution, separation of power, federal character of the constitution, okay? So this case is also known as fundamental right case, okay? Then comes the question number 10. By the 42nd Amendment Act 1976, the following words have been added to the preamble to the Constitution of India dash. Okay, so the correct answer will be socially, secular, and integrity. Okay, so option number C is the correct answer. Okay, the Constitution 42nd Amendment Act 1976 inserted 3 words in the preamble of the Constitution, namely socially, secular, and integrity. The phrase sovereign democratic republic has been changed to sovereign socially secular democratic republic. In order to make the concept of socialism and secularism explicit, likewise the phrase unity of the nation was changed into unity and integrity of the nation to lay emphasis on the indivisibility of the country along with the unity of the nation. Okay, then comes the question number 11. Respect for the national flag and anthem is fundamental duty. Okay, option number B is the correct answer. Okay, and the Constitution 42nd Amendment Act 1976 added the part 4A consisting article 51A, which introduced the concept of fundamental duties. 10 fundamental duties were added by the constitutional amendment. Among these 10 fundamental duties, article 51A, that provides fundamental duty of citizen to abide by the constitution and respect its ideals and institution, national flag and national anthem. Okay, then comes the question number 12. Issuance of writ of mandamus relates to, okay, the non-performance of the public duty. Okay, option A is the correct answer. Okay, the writ of mandamus literally means a command. The writ of mandamus is issued to enforce performance of public duties which are mandatory in nature. The public duties may be administrative, administrative, and statutory, constitutional in nature. For the enforcement of the writ of mandamus, the following conditions are required to be fulfilled. The petitioner must have a legal right to enforce performance of public duty. Number 2, there must be mandatory legal duty on the part of the authority. Number 3, the petition for mandamus must be preceded by a demand of justice and its refusal. Alright. Then comes question number 13. Who amongst the following is exempted from the application of the Indian Penal Code? Okay. So the correct answer will be all of the above. Although under section 2 of the Indian Penal Code, every person is liable to be punished for committing an offence, yet there are certain exceptions to the general rule which are based on the principle of expediency, convention, agreement, or understanding between nations. Article 361 clause 2 of the Constitution of India exempts the President of India, Governor of the states, from criminal liability during the term of his office. However, after the term of the office, anyone can file a case against him for committing an offence. The diplomatic agents are also provided immunity from criminal liability. The immunity of diplomats from criminal liability is based upon his being the representative of the sovereign state. He is entitled to same immunity which a sovereign is entitled to. Alien enemies cannot be tried by ordinary criminal courts except when they commit crimes not connected with the war like theft, etc. Okay. Then comes question number 14. A presumption as to dowry death of a woman is provided in Indian Evidence Act 1872. So it is provided under section 113B. Okay. Then comes question number 15. Which out of the following kinds of mortgage is not included in section 58 of the Transfer of Property Act 1882? Okay, so the correct answer is anomalous mortgage. Okay, option A is the correct answer. Then comes question number 16. Maxim res ipsa loquitur, things speaks for itself, is the correct answer. Option number A. Okay, it is a case of it is a doctrine of negligence. So here, like, the rule is that the plaintiff has proved the negligence and not for the defendant to disprove it. Cause hardship to the plaintiff in certain cases where the true cause of the accident lies within the knowledge of the defendant who caused it. This hardship is to some extent removed by the Latin maxim, that is res ipsa loquitur. Maxim means the thing speaks for itself. Okay. Then comes question number 17. When a writ is issued to an inferior court or tribunal or on the ground of exceeding jurisdiction or acting in violation of the rules of natural justice, it is called what? Writ of certiorari. Okay, the writ of certiorari is an instrument through which the higher courts keep the lower courts, tribunals, and other quasi-judicial bodies within the limit of their jurisdiction. If they act beyond the jurisdiction conferred upon it or act in violation of the principle of natural justice, their decision can be quashed. For the issuance of writ of certiorari, the following conditions must be fulfilled. That is, number 1, the judicial or quasi-judicial bodies must have legal authority. Number 2, such authority must be an authority to determine questions affecting rights of subjects. And number 3, it must have duty to act judicially. And number 4, it must have acted in excess of its authority. Okay. Then comes the question number 18. Prohibition of employment of children below dash for years in provided under Article 24 of the Constitution of India. It's 14 years. Okay, it's 14 years. Keeping in the mind that the children are asset of the nation and also the public health and safety, the Constitution of India incorporated this noble provision. This mandate has further been strengthened by the Article 21A, which provides the fundamental right to education for the children between the age group of 7 to 14 years. The Cabinet has approved certain amendments to the existing child labor laws to make it in conformity with the constitutional mandate. Then comes question number 19. Supreme Commander of the Indian Armed Forces. It's very simple. President of India. Okay. Then comes question number 20. Who is the present Attorney General of India? You have to find it out. Okay. I don't remember. So at that point of time in 2012, it was G.E. Vahanavati. Okay. But right now, who is the Attorney General? It is your duty to find out and do comment down below. Okay. Mhm. Then comes question number 21. What is the retirement age of the judge of the Supreme Court of India? It's 65 years. Okay. It's 65 years. Then comes the question number 22. Who is the present Chief Justice of Guwahati High Court? I don't know. Okay. You have to find out. Yesterday also I asked you to comment down, but nobody did. Okay. Um, so do comment down. Okay. Then comes question number 23. Out of the following eminent personalities of Assam, who has been awarded the Bharat Ratna? Okay, so the correct answer will be Justice Adarsh. Sorry, the correct answer is Lokpriya Gopinath Bordoloi. Okay, Lokpriya Gopinath Bordoloi was awarded Bharat Ratna in the year 1999 posthumously for his outstanding performance in the field of public affairs. Okay. Then comes question number 24. Section 82 of the Indian Penal Code provides that the nothing is an offense which is done by a child under the age of 7 years. Okay. Option number A is the correct answer. Section 82 totally absolves a child under the age of 7 years of criminal liability. The rule is based on the general proposition that an infant below a certain age is incapable of distinguishing between the right and wrong, and no criminal responsibility should be imposed upon him. Okay. Then comes question number 25. An executing court. Uh, the correct answer will be can neither modify nor vary the terms of the decree. Okay, it's section 42 clause section 42 subsection 4 of the Code of Civil Procedure mandates that the court executing the decree does not exercise power in respect of the matters which could be determined only by the court which has passed it. Okay, the other words in other words, the powers to be exercised by the executing court only relates to the procedure and not substantive rights of the parties. The executing court cannot convert itself into the court passing the decree. Okay. Then comes the question number 26. Garnishi is. Okay, so judgment debtor. Okay, judgment debtor's debtor. Garnishi is a judgment debtor's debtor. I mean, option C is the correct answer. Okay, sorry, option B is the correct answer. Judgment debtor's debtor. The term garnishi means a judgment debtor's debtor. He is a person who is liable to pay a debt to the judgment debtor or to deliver any movable property to him. The Code of Civil Procedure 1908 under rules 46A to 46 I lay down the procedure, the garnishi case. Okay. Then comes question number 27. Who composed the song Avamur Apunar Dekh? Okay, it's very simple. Sahitya Rathi Lakshminath Bejbarua. Okay. Then comes question number 28. If a patient is taken inside a operation theater by theater for angioplasty, then his disease is, okay, angioplasticity, like, so it is the disease that is option number C. Okay, congestion of the arteries due to the fat and cholesterol. Okay, it happens in the heart actually. Okay, so option number C. Then comes question number 29. Which of the following human blood group is called universal donor? Okay, so it's O. Okay, group O. D is the correct answer. Then comes question number 30. Complete the series 2, 4, 7, 11 dash 22. So it will be 16. Okay. Then comes the question number 31. Who amongst the following great personalities is known as Rup Kuwar? Obviously Jyoti Prakash Agarwala. Okay. Then comes question number 32. The day after tomorrow is my birthday. Next week the same day is the day of Holi. If yesterday was Sunday, then what day would be the day after Holi? Okay. The very simple. So the correct answer of this question will be Thursday. Okay, option number B is the correct answer. Then comes question number 33. The expression Richter scale relates to earthquake. Okay, option number C is the correct answer. It is instrument through which earthquakes are measured. Okay. Then comes question number 34. When he dashed his haircut, he took a bath. So the correct answer will be option number B. Sorry, option number A, have had. Okay, when he have had his haircut, he took a bath. Okay. Then comes question number 35. Kirtan Ghosa. It is written by Shankar Deva. Okay, and Madhav Dev written what? Nam Gokha. Okay. Then comes question number 36. I never miss a cricket match as I dash fond of cricket since my childhood. So the correct answer will be am. Okay, I am, not has been. Then comes question number 37. I am tired dash this work. So the correct answer will be of this work, of option number B. Then comes question number 38. I want to go dash my friend's birthday party. So the 2, it will be 2, option number C. Then comes question number 39. We must try to get home dash time for dinner. So the correct answer will be D. Okay, in time. Always remember, before time in will be, and preposition in will be used. Okay. Then comes question number 40. The national song Vande Mataram was composed by Bankim Chandra Chatterjee. Okay, option number B is the correct answer. Then comes question number 41. Tirupati is in where? Is in Andhra Pradesh. Okay, Tirupati Balaji temple is in Andhra Pradesh. Then comes question number 42. Davis Cup is related to which sport? It's tennis. Okay, Davis Cup is related to the tennis. It is one of the mega event hosted in the field of tennis. Okay. Then comes question number 43. The famous football player uh, Zinedine Zidane played for which country? So the correct answer will be France. Okay. Then comes question number 44. An agreement, the meaning of which is not certain is, it's void. Okay, VOID, void. As per section 29 of the Indian Contract Act 1872, agreements, the meaning of which are not certain or ambiguous are void. An agreement to be valid must be certain. If the meaning of the agreement is neither certain nor capable of being made certain, then the agreement is void. Okay. Then comes question number 45. All agreements are contract if they are made by the free consent of the parties competent to contract. Lawful considered lawful object not expressly declared to be void. All of the above will be the correct answer. Okay. Section 10 of the Indian Contract Act 1872 provides that all agreements becomes contract only if they are made by the free consent of the parties competent to contract for a lawful consideration and lawful object. An agreement are not expressly declared to be void. Free consent of the parties is governed by the section 13 to 22 of the Indian Contract Act 1872. Competency to contract and lawful consideration of our government are governed by the section 11 to 23 of the Indian Contract Act 1872 respectively. The Indian Contract Act 1872 expressly declares some agreements are to be void under section 20, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30 and 56. Okay. So then comes Question number 46. Okay, a proposal when accepted becomes a promise. Okay, option number 2b, sorry, option number B. Okay, a promise. Section 2b of the Indian Contract Act 1872 provides when a person to whom the proposal is made signifies his assent thereto, the proposal is said to be accepted. Up the proposal when accepted becomes promise. Okay, so then comes question number 47. An agreement enforceable by law is a contract. Section 2h. Okay, then comes question number 48. Immovable property does not include building, land, standing timber, and so the correct answer will be option number C. Okay, standing timber. Section 3 of the Transfer of Property Act 1882 provides specifically that the immovable property does not include standing timber, growing crops and grass. Okay, then comes question number 49. The doctrine of part performance of the Contract Act is provided in 53A. Okay, the doctrine of part performance is equitable doctrine. A person who has taken possession of the immovable property on the basis of a contract of sale and has either performed or willing to perform his contractual obligation should not be ejected from the property on the ground that the sale has not been registered and the legal title has not been transferred to him. The doctrine is based on the maxim equity looks on that as done which ought to have been done. Okay, so this is really important doctrine, doctrine of part performance. I will discuss about it in the after the prelims exam. Okay, so there is a high probability that the question might be framed under this section. Okay, 53A. This is a very important section of Transfer of Property Act. Okay, then comes the question number 50. A mortgage which is not a simple mortgage, a mortgage by conditional sale, an usufructuary mortgage, an English mortgage, or mortgage by deposit of title deeds is called anomalous mortgage. Okay, option number B is the correct answer. Okay, section 58 subsection G of the Transfer of Property Act 1882 states that a mortgage is anomalous mortgage when it is not simple mortgage, mortgage by conditional sale, or an usufructuary mortgage or deposit of title deeds. Anomalous mortgage is the result of the combination of any two or more forms of a specific category of mortgage. Okay, then comes the question number 51. I would rather have water instead of milk. Okay, instead will be used, option number A. Then comes question number 52. If floriculture is a cultivation of a flower, then horticulture is. This is very common. Okay, this question has been coming so for couple of years again and again consecutively. Okay, so the correct answer will be option number A. Okay, horticulture generally relates to the fruits. Then comes question number 53. Then comes the question number 54. Which one of the under mentioned right is guaranteed to the citizen of India as a freedom under Article 19 of the Indian Constitution? Okay, right to vote, right to citizenship, right to contest election, right to assemble peacefully without arms. Okay, so option number D is the correct answer. Okay, explanation. Article 19(1)(b) guarantees to all citizens of India the right to assemble peacefully and without arms. The right includes right to hold meetings and take out procession. However, this right is subject to the following restrictions, like the assembly must be peaceful, it must be without arms. The reasonable restriction is put under clause 3 of the Article 19 of the Constitution of India. Okay. Then comes the question number 55. The term sale in the Transfer of Property Act 1882 is defined under the correct answer will be option number 54. Okay, the term sale has been defined in section 54 of the Transfer of Property Act as transfer of ownership in exchange for a price paid or promise or part paid or part promise. The following are the essentials of sale. Listen carefully. The parties must be competent to transfer within the meaning of Section 7 of the Transfer of Property Act, must be competent to enter into a contract and have the right to transfer the property. Okay. Then number 2, the subject matter of the sale must be immovable property, which may be tangible or intangible. Then number 3, there must be some consideration for the purpose of sale. In other words, there must be consideration must be paid for the transfer of ownership of the property. And number 4, there must be transportation of absolute right over the immovable property which is the subject matter of sale. Okay, then comes question number 56. A second appeal under section 100 of the Code of Civil Procedure 1908 lies to the High Court. So the answer will be option number D. Okay, substantial question of law. Section 100 of the Code of Civil Procedure 1908 provides that second appeal lies to the High Court uh, from every decree passed in appeal by any court subordinate to the High Court if the High Court is satisfied that the case involves substantial question of law. The appellant has to state the substantial question of law in the memorandum of appeal. Okay, so yeah, question number 57 now. Injunction is granted under the provision of the Civil Procedure Code 1908 dash. Okay, so it is order 39 rule 1. Okay, option B is the correct answer. So like order 39 rule 1 states that the case in which a court grants temporary injunction may be granted by the court like in certain situations. The situations are like, number 1 is that where any property is in dispute in a suit is in danger of being wasted, damaged or alienated by any party to the suit or wrongfully sold in execution of a decree. Then number 2, where the defendant threatens or intend to remove or dispose of his property with a view to defrauding his creditor. And number 3, where a defendant threatens to dispose the plaintiff or otherwise cause injury to the plaintiff in relation to any property in dispute in the suit. Then comes number 4, where the defendant is about to commit a breach of contract or any kind of injury. Then number 5, where the court feels that in the interest of the justice, temporary injunction should be granted. However, for the grant of temporary injunction, the High Court must be satisfied about the following aspects inter alia. So the appellant has make out a prima facie case in the support of his claim. If injunction is not granted, irreparable injury will be caused to the applicant. The balance of inconvenience must be in favor of the applicant. Okay. Then comes the question number 58. A person claiming right to appear before the court may lodge a caveat under which provisions of the Code of Civil Procedure. Okay, so the correct answer will be section 148A. Okay, section 148A of the Code of Civil Procedure 1908, which was added by the Amendment Act of 1976, regulates the process of issuing caveat. The main object of caveat is to safeguard the interest of the person against an order that may be passed on the application field. Okay, application filed by a party in a suit or proceeding instituted or to be instituted and to reduce multiplicity of litigation. Okay, then comes question number 59. A plaint shall be rejected. The correct answer will be option number A, if it does not disclose a cause of action. Okay. Order 7 Rule 11 of the Code of Civil Procedure 1908 provides that the plaint shall be rejected if it does not discloses the cause of action. If the court wants to reject a plaint on the ground it must do so by reading the plaint and nothing else. The power this power of the court is exercised when it comes to the conclusion that even if all the allegations stated in the plaint are proved, the applicant will not be entitled to any relief. Okay, then comes question number 60. An application can be filed for review of judgment if, so the correct answer will be option number B, if there is error apparent on the face of the record. Okay, so one of the ground for provided under section 114 of the Code of Civil Procedure 1908 for review is error apparent on the face of the record. The term error on the face of the record is not defined, but an error can not be said to be apparent if it is not self-evident. Okay, another ground for review is discovery of new and important matters or evidence and any other sufficient reason. Okay. Then question number 61. At present, Guwahati High Court jurisdiction over how many state? So the correct answer will be 7 state at that point of time. But now it has changed. So now it is your duty to find out and let me know in the comment section. Okay. Whether it is still 7 or 8 or 4. Okay. Do let me know in the comment section. I'll answer it later. Then the question number 62. When a person has not been heard of for dash years by those who would naturally have heard of him if he had been alive, the burden of proving that such a person is alive is shifted on the person who performs it. Okay, it's 7 years. Okay, option number B is the correct answer. Section 108 of the Evidence Act, that when it when it is proved that a person has not been heard for 7 years by those who would have heard of him if he had been alive, that burden of proving that he is alive is shifted to the person who affirms it. Okay. Then comes question number 63. Someone's case means a case. The correct answer will be option number A, relating to an offense not binding on warrant case. Okay, not being a warrant case, relating to an offense and not being a warrant case. Okay, on the basis of the gravity or the seriousness of the offense can be divided into the two cases, that is warrant case and the summon case. Section 2, clause X of the Code of Civil Procedure 1973 defines warrant case a case relating to an offence punishable with death, imprisonment for life, or imprisonment for a term exceeding 2 years. On the other hand, Section 2, subsection W defines someone's case as a case relating to an offence not being a warrant case. Okay. Then comes question number 64. Non-cognizable offences means. So the correct answer will be option number A. Police officer has authority to arrest without warrant. Okay. Then comes question number 65. A person shall be eligible to be appointed as a public prosecutor if he has been in practice for not less than dash 7 years. Okay. Section 7 Section 7 of the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973 provides that in order to be eligible for appointment as a public prosecutor, one must have 7 years of experience in practice. Okay. Then comes question number 66. Anticipatory bail can be granted on a person apprehending arrest on accusation of having committed a non-bailable offence under which section? Section 438 CRPC. Okay. Then comes question number 67. The attorney protested that testimony being offered was not dash to the case and asked it to be struck off from the record. Okay. So the correct answer will be German. Okay. C. The term German means relevant to a subject under consideration. An attorney protests whenever an irrelevant testimony is offered by the opposite party. Then comes question number 68. Firoz Shah Kotala Stadium is located in Delhi. Okay. It's a cricket ground in 1883 established. Okay. Then comes question number 69. With which of the sport Mary Kom is associated with? It's boxing. Okay, you know it very well. Then comes question number 70. There are two classes of advocates in India: senior advocate and advocate. Option number A is the correct answer. Then comes question number. So it is defined as section 16 of the Advocates Act 1961. Okay, there shall be two kind of advocates. Then comes question number 71. To free a person from the charge or blame. So that is option number B. Okay, exculpate. Okay, to free a person from the charge or blame, that is exculpate. Okay. The term exculpate means to show or declare that someone is not guilty. Okay. Then comes question number 72. Nemo that as judex in causa propria sua means. Okay. So the correct answer will be freedom from bias. Okay. Option number B. Then comes question number 73. DTP stands for desktop printing, sorry, desktop publishing. Okay. Then comes question number 74. The noise comes from dash from river. Inside, okay? It will be inside. Then comes question number 75. You can trust Raju to have everything dash over control. Sorry, under control. Then comes question number 76. A court or people officially appointed to deal with special matter dash. Okay, so that will be tribunal. Then comes question number 77. Ultravirus is a term used to mean beyond or in excess of power. Okay, it is a Latin phrase. Ultravirus means beyond power or excess of power. The term simply means beyond power or lack of power and is distinct from illegality. Okay. Then comes 78. The headquarters of the Northeastern Council is in Ceylon. Okay. Then comes question number 79. Who presided over the session of the Rajya Sabha? It's Vice President. Okay. Under Article 64. Then comes question number 80. A dash of lions was moving menacingly in the jungle. Okay, so the correct answer will be pride. So the herd of the lions are called pride. Okay. Then comes question number 81. A dash of Sheetal fish was seen near in the river. So the correct answer will be school. Okay. The school will be called the fish. The herd of the fishes are called school. Okay. Then comes 82. Choose the word from amongst the alternative which has the closest meaning to the word ecstatic. Okay, ecstatic means to be very happy. Okay. Then comes 83. Choose the word uh, from amongst the alternatives which has the closest meaning to the word annulled. Okay, annulled means to set aside. Then comes 84. Choose the word from amongst the alternative which has the closest meaning. Okay, so yeah, it's a synonyms. So vox populi. Okay, it will be voice of the people. Okay. Then comes question number 85. Article 227 of the Constitution of India deals with the High Court's power of superintendence. Okay, option number A. Then comes question number 86. Grammy award is given to the people excelling in Grammy award is given to the people excelling in which sport? So the correct answer will be music. Okay, music. Then question number 87. Which of the following is not a computer language? Basic, Tally, Pascal and Fortran. Okay, so the correct answer will be Tally. Then comes Tally is a software developed by the Tally Solution Private Limited, which is a Bangalore-based enterprise sources planning software company. The Tally software is mainly used for vouchers, financial statements, and taxation and retail businesses. Okay. Then comes 88. The full form of www is World Wide Web. Okay. Then comes 89. The capacity of the modem is expressed in terms of bits per second. Okay, option number A. Then comes question number 90. The doctor is able to get a clear picture of the fetus in the womb of the womb of the mother with the following technology. Okay, it's ultrasound technology, option number C. Then comes question number 91. বিস্তৃতর বিপরীত অর্থ বোঝা শব্দটি কি হ'ব? সংক্ষিপ্ত. Okay, option number B. Then question number 92. এৰেহা শব্দটোৰ অৰ্থ হ'ব উচ্ছিষ্ট. Okay, option number A. Then comes question number 93. ভেকুলীৰ পিঠিত নোম গজা খণ্ড বাক্যটোৰ অৰ্থ কি? অসম্ভৱ সম্ভৱ হোৱা. Okay, option number A is the correct answer. তাৰপিছত 94. বেৰাকুটীয়া জতুৱা ঠাঁচ শব্দটোৰ অৰ্থ কি? So it will be ধেমেলীয়া. Okay, option number B. Then question number 95. ধনী হৈও তেওঁৰ অহংকাৰ নাছিল. এই বাক্যটো হ'ল এইটো সৰল বাক্য. Okay. Then comes question number 96. অন্তৰ্গত শব্দটোৰ সন্ধি ভাঙিলে হ'ব option number B is the correct answer. Okay. Then comes question number 97. তলৰ কোনটো শব্দৰ বানান শুদ্ধ? So the correct answer will be option number A, ঐক্যতান. Then question number 98. সি উনা উনে ধন ঘাটিছে. ইয়াত উনা উনে মানে কি? So the correct answer will be খৰকৈ, option number A. Then 99. আঠুৱা চাই ঠেংমাল. এই ফকৰাটোৰ অৰ্থটো কি? অৰ্থটো হ'ল সামৰতে চাই কাম কৰা, option number A. Then 100. ধোঁৱা খাবলৈ ব্যৱহাৰ কৰা দীঘল নলী লগোৱা সামগ্ৰীৰ নামটো হ'ব টেমি, sorry, গুড়গড়ি. Okay. So right, this is the end of this video. I hope you find this video worthy enough. Please hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, this is your first time in my channel, then do subscribe my channel. And thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care of yourself. Bye bye.